Hi, this is Dr. Kimberley Linert, author of Visualizing Happiness in Every Area of Your Life and host of this podcast, Incredible Life Creator. And today I have with me Judy Feldhausen. Hey, Judy.
Hey, Dr. Kimberly, it's so great to be here.
Yeah, and happy to have you on. And just so people know who you are, I'm going to just read a short bio. So, Judy Feldhausen is a holistic practitioner and coach. She's an educator and can assist you getting through mindful challenges when working through a health situation. As a graduate from the Southern Institute of Natural Health, she is able to provide nutritional information, vitamins and minerals, and even show you how to grow probiotics in your kitchen. She holistically looks at blood work to determine root cause of health challenges. She loves to cook and invent on and convert unhealthy family favorite recipes into healthy new traditions. She intends to leave a legacy of integrity, responsibility, and harmony. Well, I'm excited to hear about all of this, Judy.
Thanks.
So just tell us your story because I know
So,
you
so
have a story behind why you got
I
into all
absolutely
this.
do, but I just am admiring your picture behind you, and you can't see really the pictures behind me. Maybe that if I change it, we
Mm-hmm.
have very similar things here. The softness, the mountains, the peacefulness. I just love that. I think that's probably why we just really clicked the first time we talked
Mm-hmm. That makes
because we have a lot of those same ideas and beliefs and goals. And what was your question?
Oh gosh, it was the big question. The big question is how did you get started doing what you're doing now? Like tell us your story.
So it's certainly been a journey. I think when we are young, I actually majored in music because I believe that when you sing, you pray twice. You pray through your words and through the beautiful heavenly music that you can share with people. And of course, that didn't last long. I fell in love and moved from my college town to where my boyfriend was. We've now been married for 52 years.
Oh, congratulations.
It's
That's like a
amazing.
milestone.
It really is. And I started doing just so much. When you move to a new town, you're 20 years old, you take the job that you're given. Well, I entered it, started a job in a scientific company. I moved from there into electronics, and I could tell people how to troubleshoot a constant voltage transformer before anybody even knew what they were. Uh, and then stayed home and with my children really became an entrepreneur. And that's where I caught that entrepreneur bug, being able to be a mom. So important to me to be there for the little things for my kids, not just the big stuff, but the little ones like, Mom, can you teach me how to braid my hair? Right? To what college should I attend? And can you help support me having a child? I mean, all that way through. But it was really when I was in my 40s or something, I thought that I was really in good health, really in good health. No medication, lots of energy. And I had a screening from a device called the Max Pulse that showed how the circulatory system was working in my body. And I found out that it wasn't working very well. And this was really a wake up call for me because my dad had passed at the age of 39 from a heart attack. And I just kind of stood back and said, that could be my future. I am just a little older than he was when he passed. And I have children. I want grandchildren. I have a husband, a family, a community. What do I do now? And so this device really spoke to me, and I became a national distributor for the device. Went around the country, really showing people that what you look on the outside isn't the same as what you are on the inside, and that's true in so many different ways. And from there, I discovered ways to help to improve your cardiovascular health through supplementation, through diet, through mindfulness. And then that expanded to, okay, so now that I have my cardiovascular health in good shape, how about my gut health? I was always the kind of person that cooked from scratch. I'm blessed. I grew up in an age where we didn't go out to dinner. I'm from a small town. We didn't have a McDonald's. So there wasn't even the choice of fast food. So grandma's house every Friday night for fish fry and just really good homemade food. And so I learned to cook and being able to help to heal my own gut from some poor choices that I made as an adult, and then to help other people. And then that actually transgressed with, oh my gosh, what if I became a practitioner and could look at the whole body in all different ways, through mindfulness, through food, through moving and helping people to see that it's not about going to a gym, it's about moving your body. So that's kind of my journey. I love being a practitioner. I love being able to really help people just look at things differently through just small shifts in their lifestyle to make just big results in their health.
Wow, that is quite a journey from electronics to health. Who would have thought? From music.
Right.
So do you still like to sing? Do you sing like in your church choir, or do you sing, or you just sing in your kitchen?
So I have been singing in elder care centers. So it's just so great to be able to go into an elder care center and be with Alzheimer's patients. And, some of them can't talk. Some of them don't understand what's going on, but you know what? They remember the words to the music and they sing along. And it's just so rewarding. And we do sing-alongs, so I get everybody involved. It's so fun.
That is wonderful. And music is so, I've said this before, musical is so magical because my background is in behavioral optometry. So I integrate vision, brain, and body, which has to do with movement and things like that. And when you integrate the body, then you actually create memories in the body that even after Alzheimer's or dementia, they're still there. And music is one of those things that creates that imprint in the body that never goes away.
Mm-hmm.
So that is wonderful.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It never goes away.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen older people even start to come, I don't want to say improve, start getting better with the right type of music and stimulation where they start to remember who they are again. It's
Really?
amazing. It's quite amazing what music can do. So I'm so happy that you're doing that. And I had no idea I was going to get that answer when I asked you. So that was cool. So I think there's a lot of people that would like to take control of their health and be healthier. And of course, it does take some dedication to change any lifestyle because lifestyle changes, if you want them to be sustainable, you have to keep practicing them over and over. But where's a good place for people to start?
Well, I think the first place is to know who you are and to know what you want and see how important that is to yourself, to your family, and to your community. And once you really have that deep in your soul, then the changes are much easier to accept because you have a purpose for those changes. For me, the first purpose that I had was to leave a legacy for my grandchildren, to be able to be a really good example of what it takes to be a strong, powerful, willful, dynamic woman, and to let them carry that on. And now I have 4 grandchildren, and they are absolutely amazing. I have one that was third in the state of Florida for pole vaulting. Mm-hmm. I have another one that was in the ranked top high in debating. Mm-hmm. And I have one that is in an international baccalaureate program at the age of 17, where she'll be accepted in any college she wants to. And one that his biggest desire is to have the periodic table in cubes all over his room, because because all those elements create life. Mm-hmm. So amazing.
All so unique and so beautiful, all finding their paths. That is wonderful.
It's so different. They're all so different.
So let's start in the kitchen, because you're a good cook. You're showing people how to change things. Is there certain things that we should have in our kitchen or shouldn't have in our kitchen?
Oh, that's a great question. I think one of the easiest things to have and not have in your kitchen is your oil. We all cook with some type of oil, right? And there's something called L-linoleic acid or polyunsaturated fats. And those really are detrimental to our health. So you're looking at in the bad category, right? You're looking at corn oil and those seed oils that you just don't want to cook with. And really, the taste is not that much difference if you use avocado oil or if you use olive oil. The amounts of unsaturated fats are so much less. One of the things that I recently learned is that butter has the least polyunsaturated fats around. And everyone says butter is the worst thing for you, right? There's some things we might want to take a different look at. And that's what I really love about what I do, is that the things that I believed in 4 or 5 years ago, I'm now adjusting because there's so much new evidence coming around that shows something. So that's the first thing that I would suggest, and just about the easiest.
Well, in one of my favorite movies, they say that butter is the secret to life. I don't know about you, but I've been on many different kinds of diets, but one of my rules is you're not taking my butter away. Butter makes everything taste good.
That's so true. That's so true.
Closely by bacon, which bacon is not very good for you.
Well, it is a protein, so you have to look at it that way, right? It is a protein. And I really believe that 80 to 90% of our diet should be clean, but you have to have those guilty pleasures too, right? I've learned to really love the fresh food and the things that most people may not put in their mouth. But also, I love going to a party and seeing what they have and eating a little bit of something. We need to do that for ourselves too sometimes.
Mm-hmm. So any ideas on, I'm always trying to put more greens in my diet. So, I mean, I hide spinach and greens in my smoothies, in my soups, in my sauces, in my, spaghetti sauce. I have it as a salad. I try and put it anywhere I can because I'm trying to up those greens, because I know they have so many vitamins and minerals in there. Well, I don't know about minerals. They have so many different vitamins, antioxidants. A lot of them even have protein in them. So what are some of your best ideas for adding more greens into the diet?
Well, you said some of the easiest, adding them to your smoothie. I put spinach in my smoothie every single morning. Mm-hmm. I freeze my spinach, and stick it in my smoothie so it's never wilted and it will last a long time because I like to buy it in bulk, right?
I'm going to take that idea because, I end up throwing away the last third of the spinach every time.
Yeah, yeah. So just freeze it, stick it in the smoothie. The smoothie doesn't care.
All right.
Really,
That sounds like
really.
a great idea. Thank you.
Yes. And definitely putting it in soup. I have a recipe for kale though that people absolutely love. In fact, it's my granddaughter's favorite food. And she doesn't have the exact healthy diet. She's a teenager, right? But roasted kale. So if you just take fresh kale, devein it, and cut it up in potato chip size pieces. Put a little bit of olive oil. I have a spray bottle, so I just spray a little bit of olive oil on the top. And then I either bake it at 350 for 30 minutes, or I have a toaster oven. I put it in my toaster oven and I toast it. And it comes out tasted, I think, a little bit of salt, like potato chips.
Mm,
Great
yummy.
snack. Yes, it's a great snack. And I do that in the morning, even if I'm going to have an egg. I toast some kale and have that with my egg. So I start my greens first thing in the morning,
Mhm.
and then do them all day long. Because you're right, they do have amazing vitamins and minerals too.
Mhm.
Um, you know, spinach has a lot of iron in it, right?
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's so good for you. And, being an eye doctor, as far as, carrots have the name of fame for like if you want to have good vision, eat your carrots. And that is true. It's really good for your night vision and some other things. But if you really want to have healthy eyes, I tell my patients green is good. Eat as much green as you can because that is protective. It's protective against cataracts and macular degeneration, and I would guess even glaucoma. It's very protective and keeps you from going into those diseases because no one wants to lose their vision. And,
Right.
in the processed foods are the opposite. They cause you to go blind because those cells in the back of your eye are so sensitive. And you put those products in there that have chemicals and it destroys them. So green is good. I tell people green is good. Please eat as much green as you can. So any way
That's
we can put it into our diet, we want to do that.
that's so true. And I just, you made me think of something. Since I have been eating so many greens, my eyesight has gotten better.
Mhm.
So I looked the other day and I had an old contact lens and I'm like, when was I that? I don't remember my eyes being that bad.
Mhm.
And so they have improved. But remember, don't be overwhelmed when it comes to greens. I suggest 4 to 6 cups of greens a day. That can be a lot, especially if you're like the little boy across the street that thinks the color green is bad, let alone putting it in his mouth. He wouldn't do that. So finding ways to incorporate it into your lifestyle, um, with a salad, of course, is the easiest, but putting it in soups and even if I'm roasting, if I'm sautéing a chicken breast, I make sure that I put some greens in there. I'm lucky enough I love to garden.
Mhm.
And so I have a lot of herbs, and I believe that herbs really will make a meal. They're not only great for you, but they add that flavor and that robust to the food.
Mhm.
So I have a big thing of basil right by my kitchen sink, and I chop in that basil every single day, making sure that I get that basil and the sage and everything else into the food to really make it so flavorful. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I made this. This is so good.
So tell me the secret to using the basil because I'll get a basil plant. I just get mine from the grocery store. I get a basil plant and I use it once and then all the leaves are gone and I'm like, okay, it's all done.
So what you want to do is to first of all, you need to repot it because when you get it, it's root bound, and it can't get any energy from the soil because there's no place to get the energy from. And I also make sure that it doesn't bloom, because when it blooms, it's preparing to die. It's getting old. It's got its offspring now. It doesn't have to live a long life anymore. So snip it from the top, and just snip around the bigger leaves first, and the more growth will come from where you snipped those leaves from.
Okay. Well, thank you. And then what other herbs do you have in your garden? If someone wanted to start their own herb garden to cook with, what are some of the ones you use all the time?
Well, one of them, I have a perennial onion. So it can be grown anywhere in the United States, which is amazing to me. It keeps coming back. And it's a smaller onion, but it gets these real big green fronds on them. And I use that in my cooking. And they keep growing. You can pull the onion, use the whole onion, or just use the fronds. If you let the fronds keep going, they get these little buds on the top, and they fall down and they make new onions. They're called walking onions
Walking on.
because they keep walking into different places in the garden. I take my little buds off, and then I plant them where I want them to walk to, because otherwise you'll find them anywhere. But that's such an easy thing, and an onion has so many health benefits. You want to start with things that you can take care of, and will work for you. And little things like rosemary and thyme and sage. Those are things that you can use in so many recipes, not just Italian ones, but with all of them. You just have to know how much you like, because something like sage is such a strong herb. And if you use it too much, it becomes overpowering. I also grow my own stevia. So stevia is a sweetener, right, that you can buy in the store. It has 0 calories. Well, I grow it. Hold on just a sec. So this is a stevia leaf. And I grow that in the summer, because I'm in a cold climate. In the summer, I put it outside, and in the winter, I bring it in. And if you taste the leaf, it's so sweet. And I use it for anything you need sweetener for. I put it in cold drinks and hot drinks. And I use the whole leaf. You can squeeze it and get an oil from it, but just having this little sweetener, sugar and spice and everything nice, right? You don't want too much sugar, but a little sweetness is so good. So
do you chop it up, or just put the whole leaf in?
That depends on what I'm doing.
Uh-huh.
So if I'm making a tea, I'll put it. I've got a tea strainer, and I just put the whole leaf along with the other herbs that I use. I also have anise. Anise comes back every year. I also bring that in. I've got anise in my house, and that's a little like a licorice flavor, and I use that as part of my tea formula with a little bit of anise. I grow my own mint, so I use my mint all the time. And just being able to know that you're doing it yourself, you're growing it yourself, and that it's not full of chemicals or pesticides, and you had a hand, and you thank them for the life that they are giving you also. So those are just a couple things.
Beautiful. And another thing I read in your bio is that you grow your own probiotics. Yeah,
Yes.
probiotics. I'm saying it right. Now, first of all, describe what that is so people know what it is and why we would want to do that.
Yeah. So in our stomach, we have something called a microbiome. that microbiome are good and bad bacteria that help digest our food and keep our gut wall strong. If you don't eat well and you don't have a lot of probiotics, you can get something called a leaky gut. And that really means that food particles are leaking into your body and into your bloodstream. So you really have to have a permeable wall of your gut and of your intestines. So probiotics are the good bacteria that help make your gut strong. So you can buy probiotics in the store, right? And we could talk for an hour on probiotics and what good ones are and bad ones are. I'd be happy to answer any questions that your guests have on how to find a good probiotic. But I have found that one of the things that I do is I grow my own. So there's a couple ones. What I'm doing now is something called kefir. I don't know if you've ever heard of kefir. Kefir is a probiotic, and it is a grain that you add water and sugar to this grain, and you let it ferment for 24 to 48 hours until it actually bubbles. And then that's called a first ferment. I drink some of mine as a first ferment. There are at least 19 strains of probiotics in that first ferment. If you want to get it fizzy, like a soda pop, you can ferment it twice. You at least double the probiotics that you have. And when you pop it or open it up, it actually is like champagne. That you have to be careful on how you open it, because I do have a couple places on my ceiling that set it open and absolutely exploded over it. So now my husband opens them for me, because I have flip top bottles that I use over and over. I'm really like to conserve and not waste. I believe in glass and not plastic. And so I have flip top bottles that are 2 quarts of glass, and then you put the top on and you close it, and the top actually flips open and close. So he opens the flip top bottle for me, so I don't get kefir all over my ceiling.
That is so funny. So that same concoction, if you will, can you use that to make yogurt? So I have this yogurt maker, but I actually, after I bought it, I actually never used it, because it says get yogurt from the store and start it. And I'm like, well, what's the point of getting a spoonful of yogurt and putting in your homemade yogurt, besides the fact that um I don't know. I would like to try and make it with like cow's milk or something else. I'd like to make my yogurt naturally. So could I take
Yes,
what you made there and start my yogurt?
that's a great question. So there are 2 kinds of kefir. There is a water kefir and a milk kefir. The water kefir will not change into a yogurt. However, the milk kefir is amazing for making yogurts from. And the thing is, you can join groups that are kefir groups that, there's everything on the internet, right? You can find groups that help you with challenges. But for me, I give my grains away. So they are so prolific. I have 3-quart jars of them right now. I only need 1 quart to make an entire batch of 2 gallons. And I have 3 quarts. So I'm always saying, hey, I have grains. And so you can join these groups and say, I'm looking for grains. Would anybody share? And, people will send them to you, no charge. You pay for shipping, which is usually a couple bucks, because they don't hardly weigh anything. And you can start your yogurt that way. Absolutely.
Wow. Thank you. Now I learned something new and very useful for me. So 'cause that's my mom was one of those moms that she made everything from scratch. So occasionally we got cereal, but she made her own granola. She made her own bread. There was always the yogurt maker on the counter making yogurt. I mean, and so I was so used to that. And then I grew up, had my own children, but became a single parent. So a lot of that stuff, uh, there was just no way to maintain all of that. Um, but I do as much as I can. I tend to make a lot of soups because with soups you can put so many things in it. And one of my favorite things to put in anything I cook, if I can get it in there, is turmeric because I think turmeric
Oh,
is like
yes.
a miraculous seasoning. So I put that in a lot of things.
That's amazing. So I have a recipe on my YouTube channel for 1 cup soup, and it's just 1 cup of stuff. One of my favorite things for in my soup is cauliflower. I use riced cauliflower.
Hmm.
My husband likes, he would like to have pasta in his soup. Don't tell him cauliflower. And I also have on there, you talked about making your own granola. I have a recipe for nutty granola. It has only nuts in it. It uses I make it chocolate or regular, and it uses your shake mix as kind of a coating for it. So you're getting your good vitamins and minerals and proteins off of the shake mix also.
Oh, that's a great idea. Because I actually, right now on my counter, I have it's called a grain-free granola, and it uses nuts and all sorts of seeds. And I find all sorts of seeds, white and black sesame seeds, chia seeds, you name it. If I can find the seeds, pumpkin seeds, they're in there, along with the nuts just all crunched up in there. But I never thought about adding protein to it to make it even healthier. That is a
Yeah.
great idea.
Yeah, it's so easy to do. A little bit of olive oil, a couple other ingredients. I warm it up on the stove and then I bake it, so it's kind of toasty. And then I love to just put that over my yogurt. Uh, it's so delicious.
It sounds yummy. And since you mentioned it, I'm sure people are going, "Where's the YouTube channel? What's your YouTube channel?"
Yeah, so my YouTube channel is Cardio Wellness Group. That's the name of my company. It's Cardio Wellness Group. There is from long ago, my name, don't go on there. There's just junk on there. There's hardly anything there. Cardio Wellness Group is where you want to go.
All right, because I'm definitely going to be checking that out to find recipes that are healthy because,
The favorite recipe that's on there is my chocolate decadence muffins.
oh, wow.
So I've made birthday cakes from it. I've got a birthday cake that I put. My husband's born in January, so I made white bark on the sides of it, and I put little trees on the top, frosted trees, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, this is such a beautiful cake!" And it's made with beets.
No, really?
There's no sugar in it
It
at
doesn't
all.
taste like beets?
It doesn't taste like you would not know. I have it's flourless, so there's no flour in it. And I've had company over and going, oh my gosh, I need the recipe for this cake. This is so good, and it's like, well, you wouldn't believe what's in it.
Well, I know we're all looking for it's hard, sugar is so addictive. Wanting that sweet, even if you've been eating clean for years, I mean, as soon as you eat one sweet thing, that's it.
Yeah,
So
well,
to find
yeah,
something good that
you know why that is? Because in our gut, we have different bacteria that have different cravings. And, one of those bacteria crave sugar. And the more you eat sugar, they are so happy that they make more. And every time you eat more sugar, make more. And they say, give me more, feed. Oh, that tastes so good. Feed me, feed me, feed me. And our gut actually overcomes our brain when it goes to our food. So
that,
you can say, I don't need it, I don't want it, but your gut's saying, yes, you do.
Your body saying, your body's taking you to the bakery.
That's right. That's right.
Wow, that is amazing. So when people are looking at their overall health, what do you think are the main things people should look at that are the most important as far as if they want to live long, feel good?
I think the best thing to do is learn to read a label. If you're going to go to the grocery store and buy something in a box, in a can, or in the freezer, learn how to read a label. My husband's like, do we have to spend so much time in the grocery store? It's because everything I pick up, if I'm trying to buy something new, I'm like, well, just a minute. One of my first lessons with that is when I went shopping for chicken, and I thought, oh, well, it's chicken. What else could be in there? Well, of course, there's water. We probably all know that there's water in chicken. There's salt. Different manufacturers put different amounts of salt. But what I didn't realize is there's corn syrup in the cheaper brands of chicken.
I had no idea there was corn syrup in chicken. I, like you said, I read labels on boxes, but I never thought to read a label on chicken.
Right. Who thinks of it, right? And I don't even know why I did that day, but I picked it up and I went, and it was unfortunately in my kitchen already. I didn't do it in the store. I'm like, I can't believe this. I cannot believe this. And corn syrup is one of the worst things that we can have in our body. When you talk about when you're talking about polyunsaturated fats, and just, oh my gosh, that's bad, bad, bad for us.
Yeah, yeah.
So learn how to read a label. Look at the first 5 ingredients. You have to know what they are. If it ends in ADE, probably not a good thing. If it says some kind of alcohol, I don't think I'd put it in my body or even on my face, right? Learn just to do the easy things and then go a little bit deeper. Look at the sugar content, the fat content, what kind of fat is in there, and make those healthy choices. You can get dressing, this salad dressing, and the difference between a good salad dressing and a poor salad dressing is in those first couple ingredients. Some of them, corn syrup is the first ingredient. And who spends time in the grocery store reading this stuff? Well, I do. I make my own salad dressings now because I can't find anything that I truly, truly like. So I make my own.
So when you say ADE at the end of a word, what does that mean?
So that's normally a bad chemical.
Okay.
So it's a preservative. We don't want to preserve our bodies. We want to live our life. We don't want to preserve the body before we're dead. Yeah, understand the good words that you need. Mm-hmm. And even if it has sugar in it, okay, it has sugar in it, but let it say sugar, right?
That makes sense. So if people wanted to connect with you, do you have a website? Where do they find you? What services are you providing right now?
So my company is Cardio Wellness Group. So it's cardiowellnessgroup.com. On that site, you can actually see I have a whole video section. So I have a whole section. I have one on recipes. I have one on heart health, and I have a section on gut health on there. There's also, you can get in touch with me, email me on that site. I have information about cardiovascular disease on there. I also do something that we haven't talked about, which is a blood analysis. So I don't know about you, but when I go to the doctor and he looks at my blood test, he goes, oh yeah, everything's fine. Yeah, okay, keep doing what you're doing. Yeah, that looks fine. Well, I see some things that are a little high, a little low. What does this mean? And they don't have time to talk with you. And even if they do, they'll just say, oh, yeah, your cholesterol's a little high. Do better with that. So I have a holistic blood analysis that looks at the measurements and shows what vitamins and minerals your body is lacking. And I help guide people through how to do that, how to add those vitamins and minerals back into their body. Some people want to do it with supplements, and some people want to do it with food. I don't care how you start. My job is just to get you on the path of better health. So cardiowellnessgroup.com. And I have an 800 number. It's 800-957-8946. That's also on the website. And you can get hold of me that way too.
All right. Well, thank you so much. So now I have a personal question for you.
Uh-oh.
Gives you the most happiness and fulfillment in your life at this point?
So I would just say my family, my community, the people that I meet every day. To me, it's always been about making those really strong connections, finding out what makes other people tick. I also have, and I don't think I have invited you. We haven't talked about it yet. I have a platform. I have two platforms. One is called Unleash Your Free Spirit. And that's to help people dream big and to see some of the challenges that other people have gone to, kind of similar to what we're doing here today, just really short. It's just an introduction to these people. In fact, I was talking to somebody yesterday, and my friend Werner Berger was a guest, and he is in the Guinness Book of World Records for being the oldest man to climb the top highest peaks in the world. And so he talked about his story and where he came from and how he was able to do that at the age of 67.
Gonna say great minds think alike because he was on my podcast a few years ago.
Oh my gosh, I love
him at
Werner.
CEO space, so I don't know
Yes.
if we have a connection there, but
Yes, that's where I met him. Yes, he and his wife.
yes.
Right. Yeah. A lot of my guests were from the good old CEO space. Absolutely. Great people. And those connections last you through your lifetime. People that I've met in networking groups have become such close friends. My partner in Unleash Your Free Spirit, I actually met at a networking group, a live networking group about 6 years ago.
Mhm.
And we have become such great friends. When my husband had knee surgery, she came over to my house and cooked, and she's Indian. She cooked an Indian dinner for us.
Wow.
So good. So good. And we've traveled all over the country together. It's so fun to make those friends and to make them feel like they're part of your family. And of course, my children, my grandchildren, I just absolutely love them. And I even employ them. So it's an additional connection that we have. So we have a business relationship, and then we have a personal relationship. And I learned so long ago that who you are is who you are. There's not two of you, there's one of you. When my son was born, I was working in electronics. I was a distributor sales manager. I had 265 distributors all over the country. He was a year old. I was a mom. I was a leader in the industry, and I felt like I was these two separate people. I was in Kansas City at one of my reps' houses, and he brought me over there to meet his wife. We were going out to dinner, and I asked to use the bathroom, and she looked horrified, and she says, "Oh my gosh, my son's toys are in the bathtub." And I'm so embarrassed. I'm like, I'm a mom too. And that, I think, was one of my first wake-up calls, that I had to be me wherever I was, not just change the hats as I went from one position to another. So, now I'm transparent. What you see is what you get. If you like me in business, you're going to like me personally too, because it's the same person.
That is wonderful advice, actually. So thank you so much for being on the podcast today and for all your great ideas on being healthy.
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure to be able to share some of the things. Sometimes I think that I don't do enough to let people know how easy it is to become healthy. And so I love the opportunity of being on your podcast to share some of my beliefs and, maybe some tips here and there that people can walk away from. I always say that if you learn one thing from something, it's enough. And if you can put that into your life, it's even better.
Yes, I agree. So here's my last question. What is your best advice on living an incredible, amazing life?
Well, I think really what you need to do is to stay in the moment. I believe that we learn from the past and we plan for the future, but the present is really that it's a present. And we have to live and be aware of what's going on around us, to be engaged, to really connect with people. Back when I was a Mary Kay consultant and director a million years ago, and one of the things that I noticed was Mary Kay Ash always looked you in the eye when she was talking to you, like there was nobody else around. So that's what you need to do. Practice that that mental acuteness to be with the person you're with at the moment and not be looking around and wondering what is going on and is anybody noticing me or somebody dressed better than me or yeah, I like the way they have their makeup. Look into someone's eyes and say, I hear you.
I love that. Thank you so much, Judy. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you so much.